You're sitting on the sofa, crying. Maybe it's been a long day. Maybe it's something deeper. Daf, your dog walks over, not to the food bowl, not to the door, to you. They press their nose against your face and start licking your tears. Most people call that empathy. It feels like your dog understands, like they just get it. But behavioral science tells a far more complex story. What's actually happening involves at least 7 layers of biology. And by the end, the real answer might move you more than simple empathy ever could. In 2012, researchers Deborah Custance and Jennifer Mayer at the University of London designed a simple experiment. They had strangers sit in a room and either cry, hum, or talk normally. Then they observed what the dogs did. The dogs ignored the humming, they ignored the talking, but when someone cried, even a complete stranger, the dogs approached, not their owner, not the person they knew, the person in distress. Whatever is driving your dog toward your tears, it isn't just loyalty. Something about human crying itself pulls them in. But here's the detail most people miss. The way the dog's approach wasn't comforting, it was submissive. Lowered head, flattened ears, body crouched close to the ground. This isn't a dog trying to make you feel better. This is a dog experiencing your distress. There's a name for it in psychology, emotional contagion. Your dog isn't understanding your sadness, they're catching it, the way you might catch a yawn. Emotional contagion sits at the very bottom of a model that primatologist Franz de Waal proposed in 2008. He called it the Russian doll model of empathy, picture nesting dolls. The outermost layer is emotional contagion, automatic, involuntary, you feel what others feel. The next layer is sympathetic concern, you recognize someone's pain and want to help. The innermost layer is perspective taking. You understand why they feel that way. Humans reach the innermost doll. The question that has divided scientists for over a decade is how deep dogs can go. For years, the consensus was clear. Dogs stay at the outer layer, contagion only. They feel your distress, but they don't understand it. But here's where it gets interesting. Over the last 10 years, study after study has pushed that boundary further, and the evidence no longer fits neatly into the outer doll. In 2015, Corson Muller and a team of researchers ran an experiment that changed the conversation. They showed dogs photographs of human faces, half showing happiness, half showing anger. But they didn't show the whole face. Some dogs only saw the upper half, others only saw the lower half. The dogs could still tell the difference. Your dog doesn't need your full expression. Half your face is enough. They can read the emotional signature in just your eyes, or just your mouth. That's not contagion, that's recognition. But it goes deeper than recognition. In 2016, Natalia Albuquerque and her team at the University of Sao Paulo discovered something remarkable. Dogs don't just process faces, they don't just process voices, they match them. When dogs heard a happy voice, they looked longer at the happy face. When they heard an angry voice, they looked at the angry face. 2 completely different sensory channels, sight and sound, integrated into one emotional picture. This is called cross-modal emotional integration. And until this study, scientists weren't sure any non-primate could do it. So when you're crying on that sofa, your dog isn't just hearing the sound of distress, they're not just seeing the tears on your face, they're processing both channels simultaneously. Building what scientists would call a composite emotional portrait, not one signal, a symphony, and your dog is reading every instrument at once. That's only what their eyes and ears are doing. What's happening inside their brain is even more extraordinary. In 2017, Ludwig Huber and his team at the University of Vienna did something unprecedented. They placed dogs inside an fMRI scanner, fully awake, fully conscious, and showed them photographs of human faces displaying different emotions. What they found was striking. The temporal cortex, a region associated with processing social information, activated every time the dogs viewed an emotional human face. This isn't a dog reacting to stimuli. This is a dog's brain dedicating specialized neural architecture to reading your feelings. But one brain region stood out above the rest: the caudate nucleus. In both dogs and humans, this small structure deep in the brain processes reward and pleasure. It's the same area that lights up when you eat your favorite food or hear a song you love. When dogs in the scanner saw their owner's happy face, the caudate fired strongly. Your dog's brain literally rewards itself for seeing you smile. Not metaphorically, not poetically, neurologically. The data from the scanner confirmed it. So what happens in that same brain when you're sad? The pattern shifts. The caudate doesn't fire the same way. Instead, researchers observe something closer to arousal combined with approach motivation. Your dog doesn't enjoy your sadness, but something in their neural architecture compels them to move toward it. Not away, toward. It's not comfort the way humans comfort. It's something more primal, more automatic, and far older than any of us. But here's the part no one talks about. Your tears aren't just salt water. Emotional tears, the ones you cry when you're sad, are chemically different from reflex tears, the ones you shed when you chop an onion. Sanford and colleagues confirmed this in 2018. Emotional tears contain cortisol, the stress hormone, prolactin, linked to emotional bonding, and leucine and enkephalin, a natural painkiller your body releases under distress. Your tears are a chemical broadcast, and your dog has 75 million more scent receptors than you do. Biagio D'Agnello and his team at the University of Naples proved this in 2018. They collected sweat samples from humans experiencing fear and humans experiencing happiness. Then they let dogs smell them. The dogs didn't just detect a difference, they changed their behavior. When they smelled fear, their heart rates rose. They sought more contact with their owners. They showed more stress signals. When they smelled happiness, calmer, more exploratory, more relaxed. Your dog's nose doesn't just detect chemicals. It translates them into emotion and action. Siniskalki and his colleagues in 2018 added another layer. When dogs sniffed arousal-laden human odors, stress, fear, distress, they showed a right nostril bias. That detail matters. The right nostril connects to the right hemisphere, and the right hemisphere is where negative emotions are processed first. Proc. Your dog's brain doesn't just detect your stress, it routes the signal directly to the emotional processing center. No detour, no delay. Here's what this means in practice. When you start to cry, the chemical signature of your distress hits the air before the first tear even falls. Your dog's nose picks up that signal before their eyes see anything. Chemo signals travel faster than visual cues. By the time you feel the tear on your cheek, your dog already knows. They've already begun to respond. That approach you see, the nose pressed to your face, didn't start when they saw you cry. It started when they smelled it. But emotional contagion in the moment is one thing. What Anne-Sophie Wilson and her team discovered in 2022 goes far beyond a single episode of crying. They measured cortisol, not in blood, not in saliva, in hair, dog hair and human hair. Number C. Cortisol deposits in hair over time, creating a chemical record of months of stress. What they found was extraordinary. The cortisol levels in a dog's hair mirrored the cortisol levels in their owner's hair. Not day to day, month to month. Your dog's stress biology synchronizes with yours over the long arc of your life together. This isn't a dog having a bad afternoon because you had a bad afternoon. This is a pattern sustained over months. Research suggests that dogs living with owners experiencing chronic stress show elevated cortisol baselines. They carry more stress in their bodies, not because something happened to them, because something is happening to you. Your dog doesn't just sense your stress in passing. Behaviorally and hormonally, they appear to live inside it. Your emotional weather becomes their climate. And now we reach the layer that explains the licking itself. In 2015, Miho Nagasawa and a team of researchers in Japan published a finding that made headlines around the world. They measured oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both dogs and their owners before and after interaction. When a dog gazed into their owner's eyes, oxytocin levels rose, in the dog and in the human. A feedback loop. WT, the same neurochemical loop that bonds a mother to her infant. Licking, nuzzling, pressing close, these are extensions of that contact loop. When your dog licks your tears, they're not cleaning your face. They're activating a bond circuit that predates human language. And here's the most striking part. The same researchers tested wolves, socialized wolves raised around humans from birth. 2. The oxytocin loop didn't activate, not in the wolves, not in the humans interacting with them. Eye contact between wolves and humans produces nothing. 2. No oxytocin response. 2. This loop exists only in domestic dogs. Somewhere in the long journey from wolf to dog, this circuit was built. It's not a wolf trait, it's a dog trait. And it exists because of us. That journey spans roughly 30,000 years. In 2005, Brian Hare and Michael Tomasello proposed a theory to explain it, the domestication hypothesis. The idea is this. Wolves that could read human social signals, follow a pointed finger, interpret a gaze, sense the emotional state of a human group. Those wolves survived better. They got more food, more shelter, more tolerance. Over thousands of generations, this pressure selected for something extraordinary. Not bigger teeth, not faster legs, social cognition, the ability to read us. Your dog's ancestors weren't selected for strength. They were selected for paying attention to you. In 2017, Bridget von Holt and her team identified something even more specific. A set of gene variants on chromosome 6 in a region associated with Williams-Burton syndrome in humans. In people, this condition causes extreme sociability, an almost irresistible drive to approach others, to seek contact, to read faces. Dogs carry variants of these same genes, Dach 1000 Hang, and the more variants a dog carried, the more time they spent seeking human contact. The urge your dog feels to approach you when you cry may not just be learned. Research suggests it could be written into their DNA. And this is the core insight. Your dog didn't evolve to understand you. They evolved to be drawn to you. It's not cognitive empathy. It's not perspective taking. It's something researchers might call motivational attunement. Every system in your dog's biology, their nose, their eyes, their brain chemistry, their very genes, is tuned toward your emotional state. Not to analyze it, not to fix it, but to respond to it, to move toward it. It's not that they understand your pain, it's that they can't not come closer, now. One thing worth paying attention to, CN. There's a difference between a dog that licks your face when you're crying and a dog that licks compulsively. Your hands, the furniture, themselves, without any emotional trigger. If your dog licks continuously in calm situations, that behavior could reflect several things. Boredom, nausea, anxiety, or chronic stress? Not always a sign of bonding, sometimes a signal worth noticing. And remember what we learned about cortisol synchronization. If you're going through a difficult period, grief, chronic stress, a major life change, research suggests your dog's cortisol baseline may be elevated too. They're not just with you emotionally, they're with you hormonally. If you notice changes in your dog's behavior during your own hard times, restlessness, appetite changes, withdrawal, it's worth mentioning to your vet. A veterinary behaviorist can help sort out what's happening, because taking care of yourself is also taking care of them. There's one more finding worth sitting with. In 2017, Anna Kiss and her team in Hungary measured the brainwaves of sleeping dogs using EEG. They found something remarkable. Dogs consolidate emotional memories during sleep, the same way humans do. Experiences with strong emotional charge, positive or negative, get replayed and strengthened during rest. That moment your dog pressed their nose to your face and licked your tears, research suggests it may be replayed in their sleep. Filed away. Reinforced, not just a passing moment, a memory with weight. So, let's go back to that sofa. To tears on your face, the wet nose pressed against your cheek. Now you know. It's not just licking salt. It's 30,000 years of evolution, an oxytocin loop shared only between your species and theirs, a brain that rewards itself when you're happy and drives itself toward you when you're not, a nose that read your distress before your first tear fell, and a set of genes that makes approaching you not a choice, an imperative. Your dog doesn't understand why you're crying, but their entire biology is pulled toward you when you do. Emotional contagion, chemo signals, the oxytocin loop, cortisol synchronization, 30,000 years of domestication, all compressed into one moment on a sofa. It's not empathy the way humans define it, but behaviorally, neurologically, and evolutionarily. It may be the closest thing another species has ever offered, not because they were taught to care, because they were built for it. Next time you cry, and your dog crosses the room, rests their head on your lap, presses close, don't ask whether they understand. Ask what 30,000 years built inside them that makes them have to be right here, right now, with you.